See what else on seals. If you had to protect a seal that was going to be positioned beyond external threads, how would you do that?
Oh, you have to. You can use like the. You have to protect the threads or cover the threads so you're not going to damage it, like the inside of this. It's nice and smooth, or paper, or like I said.
Are seals installed with lubricated or unlubricated?
They're the backup seals.
Any seal. Are seals installed lubricated or dry?
It'd be lubricated.
With what?
Oil.
What kind of oil?
With the hydraulic oil that you're using.
All right, that's what I want to hear. Very good. Where do I get information on the type and quantity of hydraulic fluid that's used in an aircraft?
Manufacturers.
What?
Maintenance.
What? Maintenance or service manual. Okay. And why are fluids color-coded?
To aid in identification, but it's not the final word on it.
What base is this particular fluid?
That's a mineral-based.
Mineral-based fluid. Is it flammable?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
In fact, they're all flammable to a certain flash point.
Okay. What is desirable, a high flash point or a low flash point?
You'd want a higher flash point.
Very good. Okay. This fluid, what base is it?
That's a polyester. Sorry, it's polyester. It's a petroleum. No, it's polyester.
Skydrol.
Skydrol is a it's an ester based, but it's what's the first word?
Poly.
No, not the polyalpha olefin. No. I love that word though. Something poly something ester.
Phosphate ester.
Polyphosphate ester.
Phosphate ester.
Oh, it's just phosphate ester.
Phosphate ester. What are major contaminants of this fluid?
Water.
Okay.
Chlorine.
And chlorine. Okay. Turns the fluid acidic. This particular fluid is termed to be hygroscopic. What's meant by the term hygroscopic?
Absorbs water.
Okay. And let's see, what else on fluids? Material compatibility with fluids. We don't have any vegetable-based hydraulic fluid here. Which type of rubber compounds are compatible with vegetable-based fluids?
Natural rubbers.
Very good. How about with petroleum-based fluids? What seal materials are compatible with it?
That is the Buna N and nitrile.
Yeah, neoprene or nitrile.
Nitrile, yeah.
How about with phosphate ester-based fluids?
I was hoping I got that one. This one is the it's going to be synthetic.
Which one?
Teflon. Oh no. Not neoprene, is it?
I think it is.
That was the other one.
Oh, that was the other one. Oh gosh.
It begins with a B.
Butyl? Butyl rubber. Yeah.
And
Oh. Butyl rubber.
The other one starts with S too, doesn't it?
I was writing this down.
I can't remember.
Butyl rubber. When was that? Butyl rubber.
Is it neoprene?
It's not coming through.
Is it neoprene?
Was it the nylon ones or no?
Is it the neoprene?
Butyl rubber. Come on. See it on the slide.
Butyl, but I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember what the slide. So I was writing it down. The butyl rubber was the.
What is it, Paul?
Can you give us a clue? It just.
EPR.
Yeah, that one.
That's
The
right.
EPL one.
Ethylene propylene.
Ethylene propylene. That's right.
Okay, those are the There's others, but those are the ones FDA wants you to remember. What's the consequence of exposing the seal to the wrong fluid?
It could deteriorate the seal, which I discovered in my thermostat in my car.
Yeah, I've done some things too.
I added water wetter in the thermostat, the rubber seal, and it just ate away. And
Man.
How much does that cost?
Last night? Was it last night? Wednesday night? No. Tuesday night, I poured a little bit of polyfiber, polybrush, and some reducer into a container. It ate the bottom of the container out. Yeah, spilled on the tabletop.
ooh,
Okay, all right. What else? Anything else you need to know? Are seals considered to be reusable?
no.
Okay, they're consumable. With a spiral backup ring, these things are made out of Teflon. In relation to the seal, do they go on the low pressure side or the high pressure side? Okay. Is this one spiral correctly or incorrectly?
Incorrectly.
And
If it is spiraled incorrectly, how do you fix that on that thing?
Just flip it around.
Or just slip it around? Okay. There you go.
Let's see, what else? Seals, importance.
The
We
rings
had
are
some
supported.
some vegetable-based fluid. What happened to it?
We had any.
You never had any? I thought I saw the straw-colored.
We've got another synthetic fluid.
Was it?
Yeah, like this stuff.
Oh, is that what it was?
This is also synthetic fluid, but it's not a aircraft hydraulic fluid. This one is for land-based vehicles, or sometimes they use it in large guns, howitzers, to damp recoil.
That is the rust inhibitor, right? Is that
does.
that's
There is a red version of this fluid. It's a Type 2, but that's used as a testing fluid.
and it's an urban myth that the castor oil gave the pilots the shits, right?
Maybe.
Always heard that one.
What's the difference between
World War
they
I
had two
fought.
different type of sky draws?
That's what I
Sky,
used to do.
There's been many different varieties of them in the past. There was a Skydrol 7000 that was colored green, and there was another one, the original 500, that was amber. But as the product has evolved, the current color code is kind of a purplish color.
gotcha.
I think I've got a sample of the 7000 someplace in the back. But just like with any other fluid, it's gone through an evolutionary process where they've improved it in one way or the other. Either it's become more fire resistant, less erosive, more chemically stable. So there's different categories and classes of it that have been used in the past. The competitor of this fluid is Exxon. Exxon makes a material called Hi-Jet. It's also that's the Chevron or Exxon version of the fluid. And it's generally compatible, but it may or may not be interchangeable. It's another phosphate ester-based fluid. But remember what I told you, beware, because again, sometimes specific brands are mentioned in a service manual and they want you to go that way. So that's important to them for some reason.
Okay, so it's more of a warranty kind
It's
of
a
thing.
warranty
than-
decision. And you see that all the time, especially if you're working like as a tech rep and you're caught between the manufacturer and the customer and trying to make a warranty decision. And you found out that they've used something that is not specifically mentioned in the manual. Now the question comes up is who pays for it. So that's a big problem.
Even though it's an identical.
Well, yeah, but there's always a question in somebody's mind. Hey, who did that? Who did that? Why did you do that? So okay. What else on fluids and seals? We'll talk more about contamination control in aircraft, but it's more than just particles. Again, it could be contaminated by foreign fluids. It could be contaminated by vapors and gases. Chlorine is a huge contaminant in these, and again, it turns the fluid acidic. And in order to verify the acid concentration in it, there's a reagent test, and it uses a base. So you add more and more of it to determine how much will neutralize the existing acid
Can you just
content.
open the laptop up?
But that's how it works.
So with this, if you're changing out, you have to flush with the
It was
naphtha
downloading, uploading.
before you put the new fluid in.
Yeah, the FAA specifies, I think, in one of their questions, the flushing agent is going to be either new fluid or Stoddard solvent. I think that's what they specify. Or no, I'm sorry, they use Varsol.
Varsol, yeah.
It's a trade name of a particular. My mind is failing. A particular petroleum-based material. So it's a solvent. But that's what they've used that test question over and over. I looked it up. It's a petroleum-based solvent. What else? Anything else?
How to store it? Do you want us to know how to store it, or
How to store Skydrol? Closed container. Poor practice to store any fluid in an open container.
what's the difference between because they had the barrels on the side, for the sky drill, and then they had one barrel that was somewhat.
Stop water from.
You don't want the opening to be. Have you ever seen the barrels outside? They collect rainwater.
Oh, okay.
You don't want that to leak down into
I gotcha.
the bung, as he called it.
I kept getting bun. I was like, okay.
Bung, right? We got most of the barrels, the large ones, have got a bung opening on them. You need a spanner or a wrench in order to open them up.
Yeah.
What else? That's about all. What questions do you have? Anything? Anything that you can think of? Anything? Nothing?
Well, I was thinking about it, but the specifics like landing gear.
Is it possible for an aircraft to have two different hydraulic fluids specified for usage aboard the airplane? What would be what would be an example of that?
Like we talked about, the one is better for cold weather than if, like different
Seasonal.
parts of the system.
Like seasonal thing.
Other than seasonal usage or exposure to temperature.
Oh, other than that? Just the operating, I guess, the operating temperature of the system, or
How about a hydraulic system that is self-contained? For example, like a shock strut.
oh,
Maybe the
yeah, you
manufacturer
want a
of the
different
shock strut has
viscosity or something.
used a certain type of sealed material in that shock strut. They would use, in that particular case, a fluid that's compatible with those seals. Whereas the working fluid for the bulk of the hydraulic system, connected to a common reservoir, it may have a completely different hydraulic
So you'd
fluid.
have to be quite careful when you're putting the fluids in to make sure.
Well, use what the service manual specifies.
Right.
Because the shock strut is, again, an independent unit that's not connected to the main hydraulic system, but in fact it may have seals in it that are peculiar to a certain type of fluid.
No, this may sound like a odd question because I don't think it would happen anytime soon. But say one of the manufacturers went out of business, like Skydrill or something, and then what ends? What would?
Well, there's other manufacturers of phosphate ester-based fluids. Maybe there would be a provision for substitution of fluid in that case. I don't know. But
They're
that's,
doing the same thing with fuel right now, aren't they?
yeah.
So trying 100 low leads in
Lead is, the
lead and
blue stuff's
unleaded.
going away.
So it's going to be unleaded, and then there's a new one. I can't remember the name of it.
2020, is that when it's meant to happen?
I don't know. I think they were actually waiting for that super fuel to get whatever it's called. You know what it's called?
Are we good to go on that?
what it's
Check
called.
out, Paul.
I think they're waiting for that to be approved
Satisfied?
before they do it.
Is there any place to buy 115, 145 anymore?
ooh,
I heard there was. Lonnie said there was one place in like Utah or
Kansas or
something.
something, yeah. That's fun.
that's what they tell you at least, right? They just put a little coloring in there.
He said that because Utah has its own fuel anyway. You know that? They still have 85 octane at the gas pumps. I
Alright.
don't know exactly what the story behind all that. Lonnie told me once, but I'm like, I just forgot about it. But they have their own. I think it has to do with being a state being self-sufficient and not part of they're still part of the union, but they want to be more self-sufficient
For the end of times, yes.
for the end of time.
Yeah, they also have a
But
study.
also because a lot of those tractors that they use for the farms use 80. They want to use 85.
Send me that bag, would you?
Yeah, not sure. And I forgot the name of that super fuel now too.
Okay.